Hi, I'm Brian. Welcome to Autogefühl and welcome to the Paris Motor Show and welcome to the brand new WEY Coffee 01. It's not every day that we get to introduce a brand new auto brand, and especially one that's going to become a significant player in Europe. So in case you're watching this and thinking, oh, another Chinese brand, I'm not so sure, I think the first thing that's important to say is that this might not be a massively known concept here, but needless to say, with 1.3 billion potential customers, when the Chinese tell you that this is something you should take seriously as an entrant into the European market, you should probably listen to them. This then is from a company called Great Wall Motors, and they already have 9 functioning brands in and around China. This is one of their first 2 entrants to markets as a brand in Europe. There's this and also the sister brand Aura. This is focused on the premium SUV market, so the launches of the Coffee 01 and the Coffee 02, which in China are known as Latte and Mocca respectively. I think it's a little cutesy, but also the idea is that it's supposed to wake you up and invigorate you, and also the auto sector. And they are not kidding around. They've partnered with a German distribution arm that has 22,000 employees. So although your contract will be directly with Great Wall Motors and WEY, when you buy one of these cars, it'll be serviced through a dealer network, which the initial launch is supposed to be with Germany and Sweden. Now, Sweden obviously has a massive electric market. So again, I can't really stress enough, they're not playing around with this. This is going to be a serious entrant into the marketplace. The whole strapline, the whole idea is that they bring you the best recognition of value for money and the most standard features available in any of the cars within its competitive segment. Now, clearly, they are well aware of the fact that the brand perception they're going to have coming into the marketplace is a little bit different from where they feel the engineering competition really lies. As far as they're concerned from an engineering standpoint, you should even be comparing this with a Q8. I think what you're supposed to do is look at this and say, you know what, that looks pretty good. 4 meters 87 or 192 inches in length. This is not a short car. And again, if you're looking at it thinking, well, there's nothing particularly distinctive about it, I think that is very much by original design. There are, however, some nice features. These handles that disappear straight into the door, and the way in which the footrail has been integrated into the overall base structure of the car. It looks solid and it looks well built, and that's a really important point. A lot of the comments from early production vehicles coming out of China were they just couldn't hit the manufacturing standard of their European counterparts. Well, if there's one thing you can say for the Chinese automotive sector, they certainly learn quickly. The build quality and finishing of this car, if you look at the seams between the doors and all of the engineering lines of the vehicle, this is a well put together and solid vehicle. Well, Thomas isn't here with us today, but I know if he were, his standard test for build quality, come on, let's find out what this thing sounds like. That is actually really nice, and I think that's the best way that I can show to you without you actually getting the chance to look at this thing yourself directly, how well this feels and looks put together. This is a nice solid start for an SUV lineup. You know what, I think this is going to be what sells this car or doesn't sell this car. The reason being, there is certainly a lot of bias about Chinese construction in the marketplace, and this car sets out to challenge that. So, right from the get-go, you can see the materials are well made and well put together. One of the first things to note about this vehicle is its nod towards the future. They are big to push the idea that this is a fully vegan car. Their whole lineup is fully vegan, and they use that word unashamedly, which, as you know, the European market isn't quite ready for that kind of language. So I like the nod to the future, and I really like the use of the new materials. These seats are really nicely designed. They look aesthetically very good indeed. They do have a premium look and feel. How is it actually going to behave when you sit in it though? Well, okay, I did tell you I was going to be pretty critical and direct about the experience, and I have to report it's really nice. This feels good. This does feel like a premium finish. Now, honestly, as I said about the overall aesthetic view that you get when you even look for the first time into the car, I do think that there is a lot here to be evolved for later models. But given that this is a first entrance to the European sector. Ahaha! Look at this, the magic appearance of the keys. I think that it's really a very good place to start from. The cockpit feels nice, the finish feels nice, the design feels nice. If anything, my only real criticism would be a little bit like the exterior of the car. There's not quite enough unique WEY personality in this for me yet. I would really like the brand to be jumping up and down and shouting at me, "We're here!" But I respect the fact that it probably takes a little bit longer to start shouting until you know exactly what and who you want to be shouting to. So, thumbs up, really nice start into the market. Screens inside here are a 9.2 diagonal driver's display and a 14.6-inch infotainment system. Now, because this is a show car and on the stand, apparently I can only switch it on once every 5 minutes. So what I'm now going to do is get Jonas to hop into the back so I can power it up and we can show you what the intro sequence looks like on the system. So the nice guys from WEY have given us the key to the vehicle so you can see what you will be holding. I would say that's nice. It's pretty basic and straightforward, but it's good. Should allow us to start the car. Are you feeling optimistic, Jonas? Here we go. Okay, so you have this initial animation. I don't know if you have to experience this every time. Initial thoughts, let's see. There we go. Initial thoughts, the driver's display is very, very small indeed. Now, I'm not quite so sure in real world usage how that would actually play out. I think it's just not familiar to me in terms of how small it is relative to what you're used to seeing. This I'm not a huge fan of. We have this capacitive buttons on the steering wheel for controlling things. The sound isn't great, the look and feel isn't great, and the display is not great. Again, I think when you look at this car, it's really important to take a deep breath and consider this is a brand new entrant to market. So everything on here has been done very specifically for a reason, to bring the best value that they can bring the car to you at. And I guess these things are expensive. I'm really not sure why they've decided to go with this in this way though. Looking through the steering wheel, well, you'll be familiar from that from other, actually we are in France, certain French manufacturers who have a big enthusiasm for this. I don't know. Let's wait to the drive to see how that behaves. Meanwhile, this to me is nothing to get either particularly excited about or particularly distressed either. It seems nice and responsive. Now, I was told that as far as the production on this car is concerned, everything physically is finished, but the software is still in its last level of generation. So if something doesn't work perfectly, don't blame the car. This is a show vehicle. You can't really compare them honestly. But as you can see, it doesn't really look radically different from anything that you would expect, and the system is relatively responsive. Actually, the noises are kind of pleasant once you get used to them. So we can see that down here, again, they've gone for touch controls for heating and cooling. Regular viewers know I'm not a massive fan of this. This looks honestly clumsy and difficult to control while you're busy trying to drive the car. I don't think I would enjoy interacting with that so much. And when you look back at the steering wheel for an alternative to be able to directly access it through that, it's not immediately apparent how you would go about that. So again, new car to market, reasonable to understand the learning curve on this is going to be slightly greater than competitors. Other initial criticism, why so much high gloss everywhere? I've only just put my fingers on this a couple of times and already you can see greasy fingerprints. That's going to be a little bit disappointing right from the get-go. Fairly nondescript gear switch here. Now, obviously this car being a hybrid, it has gearbox as well, automatic. You're going to be able to hopefully not interact with that too much, because you should just be driving and enjoying how much money you have left in your bank after having bought it. I would say that the feeling of the finish here is one of quality. The difference between this not being a European first car is just the selection of materials could use a bit of refinement, but I would still give them a really, really high score for how refined the cabin feels. Look at this inlaid light signature where the lights change color, and that can be set and adjusted to match your mood or whatever is happening with you. I really like this finishing. It feels and looks very high quality. So, overall of the cockpit, and we also have a panoramic roof. That, they decided they did want real buttons for. Hooray! Like Thomas, I'm not a huge fan of capacitive stuff. Everything in here looks and feels really well made. Well, this is actually a pleasant surprise. A lot of the time, this is the very last place that manufacturers spend money because they're assuming you're not going to look at it ever. And there you go. I think in many ways, this kind of nicely sums up the car. It's well made. There's a lot of thought that's gone into this. I think what's required for you, the owner, to get the best out of this car is just to have a really open mind, know that the car is well built, know that it's going to have a good future, but be prepared to accept that it is a first entrant into the market, and because of that, just a couple of compromises are going to need to be made. That said, this panoramic roof is great, more than enough room. I'm 5'10" or 178 centimeters, but I have a long torso, so you can compare me to somebody of about 6'1" when I'm sitting down. And as you can see, the one thing you can categorically state about this car is that there is more than sufficient room in the back. And I have to tell you, this for me is the most distinctive part of the design. I really like this. There's something a little bit Volvo-esque about the approach back here. The light signature combined with the cutaways, but this really clean presentation of the rear of the car. Yes, it's immensely big and bulky just here, but it looks stylish, clean, modern, and unique. So 2 thumbs up from me. I think they've done a really good job. Well, obviously the most important thing you have to do with a large SUV is to provide acres of space in the rear. He said zapping at the key and hoping that that would result in the boot opening. We can but hope. There it is. We've got it. Okay. So unfortunately, I don't have an exact detail for you. That's not quite as much space as I would have been hoping for. Let's get out Thomas's ever faithful tape measure and tell you exactly what it is you're looking at. Well, we can go up to 97 centimeters in depth, or 38 inches. For width on the opening itself, it goes pleasingly from 1.14 m, or about 45 inches, and then if you take into account these cutaways inside, you get about an extra 2 inches, or up to around about 1.23 m. So there's a fair bit of space back here, but not as much as I would expect for a car in this class. We have a look under here. Well, you've really got almost nothing in the way of additional storage space, so I think we just solved the riddle as to what happens to a hybrid with a very long range's extra battery. Don't forget, the fully electric range of this car of 147 kilometers. Jonas just pointed out, when you have the boot fully extended, you're going to be pretty pleased that you're only 5'10" when it comes to loading your car. Jonas is well over 6 foot, and as he points out, he has to duck down to get his head under. Well, swings and roundabouts. I'm perfectly happy because I'm not a tall guy, but at the end of the world, there is something I really do appreciate about this particular piece of design, and if you've ever had to put your car in underground parking with a low headspace, you'll know exactly what I mean. Coffee One comes with a massive 40 kilowatt hour battery, and that gives you a huge fully electric range of 147 kilometers. If you want to charge it on pure AC, it should take about 3 hours and 50 minutes, but if you use the much faster DC charging, just 53 should see you full and ready to go. We've been joined by Alex Wolf, who's the chief engineer for WEY, and I really wanted to get him on camera. He's actually, given that we're in the show, much less stressed than I would expect him to be, but this is his baby, and he's pretty excited about it, understandably, so I was hoping that he'd tell us a little bit about what this car is, why it is, and what he hopes to achieve with it. Alex.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
You too.
Of course, pleasure to me to pronounce our new car here. It's our WEY. WEY is our luxury SUV brand. That's our Coffee 01, the first model we want to launch here. You see it in the front, even our big shark mouse with the WEY logo, the big WEY logo. WEY, the name of our founder, Jack WEY, he gave the name for quality and a good price. Pouding and Bauding, it's the old spelling for Bauding, where the car comes from. And that's the tower where Mr. Jack WEY was raised, and he always saw that, like here the Eiffel Tower. It's in his hometown. That's where we have a vertical language. a design language in this car. You see it all in the lights there. We have a really masculine, I really love this masculine front of our car. And it's nice when a car comes in your mirror and you say, oh, it's a big car, you can move over. That's really nice. We're talking about this car from the size itself. It's like a BMW X6 from the size, or Audi Q8. And the wheel range is exactly the same. For marketing topics, we will put it a little level down, like to a GLC Mercedes-Benz or Audi Q5, something like this. From the powertrain itself, we have here a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine and a double clutch 9-gear shift system from our 100% daughter HiSet. It's a high performance gear shift, combines performance with economy, something like this. Then also we have it's a hybrid. We have a P2, P4, that means P2, a smaller electric engine on the same axle at the front, and a P4 independent electric axle in the back.
Now that's my first question.
Yes.
It's interesting, obviously you decided this was the right way to enter into the market. Why did you go with a hybrid over a pure electric for your first entrance?
Because we have different brands. Right now, as a gravel motor itself is the mother. We have right now 8 different brands, and each brand has their own focus. Right now, we have this in the middle class with the Aura brand. It's next to us here. There's a pure BEV. And here we have like our hybrid family. We want to show our hybrid technology, because in China it's an IC engine only. And for Europe we decided to bring our hybrid, and it's the first step maybe to hydrogen in the next step, because we are testing it already.
Wow.
Hydrogen. For that we have it in our company already done a serial production for hydrogen, but now we're going for hybrid, and then hydrogen is the next step for this one, and even pure electric is possible for WEY in the future.
Now, here's the really big question. A lot of the people who view our channel are customers already of BMW, of Audi, of Mercedes, and this would then be a radical departure for them. What would you say to those people directly in terms of why they should consider this as their next car?
Of course, I was driving an Audi. I still have an Audi at home, but I think my next car will be a WEY or an Aura. Of course, Mercedes-Benz and BMW is a great car, sportive, but right now more and more German or European engineers are working on WEY and bringing their experience from even BMW. I work for BMW, and we bring it in to get this car as much as sportive and comfortable for the customers, that they really have a great car to feel the energy, the power, the quality. Inside, our Chinese colleagues did the best of quality, haptic, optic. When you're sitting in, it's like you're feeling welcome in your living room inside. Everything you touch is the best quality. We have here a vegan car, that means no animal products in this car. And when you sit in, you really feel comfortable. You have massage seats, ventilated seats. You have a lot of space. In the second row even, I can sit really easily to cross over my legs. It's really a lot of space. And for the power, we shut it down the engine with 235 kilometers an hour, so that's enough for everybody for hybrid. We have here in this car, because BMW has only reached right now with the best hybrid, they have about 80-85 kilometers electrical range. We have a minimum of 145 kilometers electrical range.
Yeah, that's quite something.
And right now in Paris we have out of fuel here, out of gas.
Yeah.
The last 4 days I'm driving away in Paris. The last 4 days I'm driving pure electric without gas, because I have no gas. So without charging, so that's great here. That's really a good thing. And even when you enter, and when you have a passenger inside with gas, it's about a 2.5 ton car. Regular empty, it's 2,350 kilograms. And to accelerate on 100, it's 4.9 seconds.
Would it then be fair to say that the idea is saying, listen guys, what we want to show you is that we can produce a high quality product at less money, because you're getting more of your money as a customer going into what's in this car.
Indeed.
And we're giving you more than you can get from somewhere else.
Indeed, that's the first thing, of quality and power. That's the first thing. And the next thing is about quality and safety. For this one, we announced the message 5 weeks ago. We get for both cars 5-star rating, ENCAP. And this car, in the last 10 years of ENCAP, of I think 10,000 cars, we are on place 3. This car has place 3, like better than Maybach, A8, S-Class, whatever in ENCAP. And in the fourth category about autonomous driving and driving assistance systems, we reached a number no other car reached ever again, 96 points of 100.
Wow.
And so this one is really, so we can say really safe is good here. And our founder, Jack Way, said, safety does not cost anything. We have all safety features and airbags from the basic model, all included. You only have like, you pay money only for nice living, like
Yeah.
different colors,
Yeah.
different seats, that's everything.
So all of that, and it comes obviously at a significantly lower price. And you have baked a lot of the future into this as well. I know we talked a little earlier about the autonomous driving potential. This is 2+
Yes.
currently, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And that means that it does have the capacity to do something like overtake automatically, but you must still tell the system to do this.
Exactly.
And then it looks to see if it's clear. And for autonomous driving level 3, the car is making up its own mind to do that all by itself.
That's right.
But now, autonomous driving level 3, that's already a thing in China, right? There are cities that are already set up and using that?
I'm not totally confirmed with this. I know the details, that's why I have to ask for this. But the car itself has the capability for level 3. Maybe in the future we can update it over the air, that it's possible. After Mercedes-Benz right now doing the testing, maybe after that we get a confirmation and can ask for the license to do that also.
Now that's actually a really good point to mention. So clearly this is an online car, has very, very complicated software. Software is always going to be a significant concern of any new car customer. Will I be able to get this car to run updates without me needing to worry about it? Am I going to need to find a dealer? Am I going to find it difficult to find someone who can do things to this car?
Also right now we are in discussion with our own R&D department, what we want to update, what is allowing. That's why, because it's critical about the data logging, that's why we're right now really into deep conversation with our R&D department, what we allow. I think from the technical side, like navigation, something like this will be the first step, will be updating over the air at your home. But I think on the other things, we will wait a little bit because it's a new car. We want to be safe that when you update your car at home, that you can still drive it. That's why we are really in deeply communication with our R&D department in China.
Now a quick look at the Coffee 02. Well, for me, visually, this ties in a lot more neatly than the Coffee 01. I like the way that the styles are all compressed in. Interesting to note that when Alex showed us around, he explained that this is a tower that is famous from where WEY is produced. I can't help but look at the front of this vehicle and think Lincoln. Am I the only guy thinking that? Maybe that's a little bit unfair. But I think as an opening statement, this is a good, solid choice of grille to go with. Kind of in keeping with the rest of the car. The silhouette is a European SUV. It's not making too bold of a statement, and I think that's probably a smart move. Coming round to the side, well, you can see, again, even more traditional styling with these regular standout door handles. For me, this design just works a little better than the Coffee 01. This car is 20 centimeters shorter than the 01. That's around about that. Again, I think compressing that detail, making it look a little bit more rugged, a bit more cheeky, sort of city SUV look, I think actually does give this car a little bit of its own unique identity. I genuinely think if I saw one of these, I wouldn't mistake it for something else, and I don't feel it's trying to be something other than it is. Now, that, to me, really starts translating when you look at the interior on this car. So, this is a different styling. I think is much nicer of a finish. You still have that same quality of materials, but here, because the contrasts aren't so dramatic, you don't get the standout. So the things like this hard plastic door pocket actually looks much more intentional and blends with the chrome effect. So I'm genuinely excited to try that in the drive and see how it translates. But as far as the cabin comfort and the overall driver satisfaction from having one of these things goes, you know what, I have to tell you, if your friends take a seat in this, they're going to be pretty pleasantly surprised. I don't think it comes as a big news to anyone that the Chinese car market is going to be having a lot bigger of an influence on Europe going into the future. Who knows where that's going to lead us? I think it's all going to be pretty exciting. But I like the fact that this, as a first attempt, tries to take a serious look about what Europeans like in their car design and keeps an awful lot of it in there, whilst putting some pretty good unique touches in here just to suggest the future. How does it drive? Well, we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to find out that. But in the meantime, it's really a pretty promising start. Once we get into the rear here, you might expect that we're going to be lacking a little bit in terms of space. But again, as with the front, I have to tell you, the look, feel and finish of this car, to me, is more comfortable and more reassuring than the 01. So maybe what we're learning here is a little bit more about my personal taste. Maybe I'm just not a big SUV guy, but I like them when they're really well made. and this feels like it's very effectively finished for its size. Again, 5'10", 178 centimeters, plenty of headspace, no panoramic roof in here, which means you're not losing that extra inches there. And look at my leg space. Smaller car, but more than sufficient. Now, I have very, very short legs, but as you can see from my knees here, even if I was over 6 feet in height, I still have plenty of available room. The finishing of this car is excellent. And if I shut this door, it really doesn't sound in any way anything other than nicely put together. Once again, I really won't be able to give you a complete opinion on it until we've actually taken it out on the road and put a few miles on it and see how it behaves. But the rear here really does speak to an excellent overall small SUV experience. Hopefully, you're going to agree with that when you get to take a look at one for yourself. Well, I guess you knew this bit had to be coming. With the narrowing of the sides here and the fact we've lost the somewhat coupe line of the bigger brother, to me, the back is too bulbous, too big. Everything else about the car sort of says small, agile, nippy. This says big, bulky, and less than dynamic. But I think that's an architectural issue with trying to maximize out the space on the slightly smaller platform. I really do like the lighting design. It feels simple, honest, and straightforward, easy to communicate, easy to understand from distance. And the branding itself with the chrome strip underneath makes a nice, clean, branded statement to me. There's just not a huge amount back here to get massively excited about. Again, for me, the back of the Coffee 01 really, really works. Back of the Coffee 02 is okay, just not amazing. Now, this should be where the story is on this car, and that's the amount of room we have available in the rear. So as you can see, actually, there is more than a reasonable amount of space back here. Thomas's tape measure coming out yet again. The full depth available to us. 97 centimeters or 38 inches in depth. And then for width, the opening itself around about a very pleasing 104 or about 41 inches for width. And if we take into account the additional space available here, it goes all the way up to about 50 inches or 123 centimeters or thereabouts. And I know Thomas doesn't do this. He's too young and elegant, but I have no pride left. I've got 3 kids, come on, I don't care. This is the realistic available space in the boot. And the finishing, which on the premium model was a little bothersome because you want cleaner, you want more expensive. On this, the cheaper, smaller model, looks absolutely in place and fine. It's really nicely finished for this car. Plenty of space back here. Again, more than enough room for 2 full-size suitcases and plenty besides that. For this size of vehicle, I think they really have got this right. Quality in the finishing is exactly as you would expect for this segment. Yes, you lack a little bit of refinement. This is a solid metal bar, you know, there's no kind of covering for it. But it's overall actually pretty great. I've stolen Alex again so he can give us an insight into its smaller brother, the Coffee 2. Alex, what's the thinking? Obviously you're going to need a smaller competitor to come to market at the same time. Is it just a smaller version? What makes this car unique? What makes it special? What am I looking at?
Okay, yeah, of course, we have here the Coffee 02. It will be following the Coffee 01 next year, in the beginning of next year. Of course, it's a little bit smaller, even it's a little bit higher than the Coffee 01 because the Coffee 01 is a coupe version and this has a regular version. It's almost the same size as a BMW X3 long version, like the Chinese version. You have even more space in with your head in the second row. But the first thing you see is only the door handles because they really look similar. The door handles, the Coffee 02 has regular door handles. The Coffee 01 has like door handles which can disappear. But yes, of course, it's a smaller one. But we have 2 options in this car. We will start this version in Germany and Europe. First, the first half a year only as a front-wheel drive. That means the 4-cylinder IC engine and a P2, as only the front electrical, as only front-wheel drive, has then less power than the Coffee 01. But half a year later, we will bring almost the same powertrain in the Coffee 01, so almost P2 and P4 in the back.
So does that mean we're going to have an even further fully electric range on this later on?
No, because the battery itself had about 6 kilowatt hours less than the Coffee 01.
Okay.
So it will be almost the same. From the power, it will be, I think, about 10%, 8% less than the Coffee 01. We will see what comes out at the end. But it's driving really great because itself has about 300, almost 300 kilogram less weight of the Coffee 01. Right now, my test car has the same powertrain as the Coffee 01. It's really sportive, and with less weight, it's even more sportive.
So
I love
lighter,
it.
smaller, more agile, more adaptable. I guess if you're going for the premium SUV feeling with a Coffee 01, the idea here is to make it more utilitarian approach, sort of
Exactly.
more for everyone.
More for everyone. It's a little bit cheaper, and you can go like in the cities. Okay, it's a huge car also, but it's less huge than the Coffee 01. You find easier parking space, and maybe for people who say you want to start from a small car to a bigger car, it's maybe the better step than the Coffee 01. Inside, you have almost the same space as in the Coffee 01 when you're driving a little bit smaller, but you have all features the same as in the Coffee 01. Even the armrest here is more European-like, because the Chinese always going really up and have a space for a little Chinese purse. Here you have the same space, but it goes in 2 options up, so it's more European-like. You will love it there. And there are some features inside, like in the armrest in the front. It's really nice. I like it more than in the Coffee 01.
Ah, that's interesting. Should we take a quick look?
Of course, please.
So this in the darker styling right from the get-go than the Coffee 01 that we looked at. But I'm assuming all finishes are available on all cars. So if I like this finish particularly and I wanted to get this on the Coffee 01, I can do this?
The color matching, yes, you can do it. This you can't do in the Coffee 01. In the Coffee 01 we don't have this. In the Coffee 01 it's like more straight up, because we have more space here. That's why here we are sitting a little bit more next to each other, but still comfy.
But it's comfortable, sure. You told me already that you have an Audi you're driving, so you already have a very personal feeling about driver systems and how they should present. What's the thinking behind this driver display? It seems very small to me.
That's right. We have only the small dashboard here because we are only showing the major things like the electric range, the ICE range, and even here, like in the Tesla, you see here the up to 4 lanes there, and even people are running there, the other systems, when you want to overtake. All this information are also projected into the head-up display, and even more. So we are projecting up to 70% of all driver information in the head-up display.
Wow. And you're not worried that might be distracting at all?
No, because I really...
In fairness, what did I expect you to say? You weren't going to say yes.
No,
wait.
I really love to drive with a head-up display, and when I'm driving fast or in a really testing, concentrating on the road or on the other systems, I really only look through the window and see everything what I need. So I really don't look here. I only look there when I want to know how much range I do have left.
That's really interesting. So in the case of the design behind this car, it's fair to suggest that it's considered the driver display is of secondary importance. The future is about the head-up display and the visual information keeping your focus on the road.
That's right.
Okay, well thank you. That actually makes good sense to me. Now, one other quick question. I know that we're not on the finished version of software for this car, so bearing in mind it's not present currently, is it going to have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay baked into it?
Yes.
Ah, excellent. And that will be
wireless.
from launch?
And wireless.
Yeah, that's important. And available from launch?
I think for the Coffee 02, 100% from launch. For the Coffee 01, we're right now deciding because of license things and something like this.
Yeah.
But the car is able to do it, and it's wireless.
So do I think you should give one of these a test drive? Yeah, you know what? I absolutely do. I'm going to. I'm pretty excited about it. And in the meantime, this is just the tip of an extremely large Chinese automotive iceberg that's about to hit Europe. Look out. I, for one, am pretty excited.